hard it is to make things work. And it is very hard because we sink money into equipment that, you know, it basically keeps us technologically ahead, but the further we get ahead, the more we get ostracized by the mainstream media. They do not like us. They flat out do not like online. They'd be perfectly happy if Obama basically shuts it all down. This is, the mainstream media is the reason why Obama wants net neutrality, which is to put the internet in the hands of those people that are the most trustworthy. You know, the people that can't make any money out of their businesses and want the government to give them money to support their business are the ones they want the internet to be placed in the hands of, which means the internet dies. Cable television dies, satellite dies. You know, satellite isn't hooked up to cable, isn't hooked up to the internet, but they're buying services that can basically pipe into your, you basically, plug, at the back of every one of your satellite sets there is a connection in for your phone. So you can get satellite, you can get internet services through your satellite. So, and anybody know, here's another thing, well, how can they give how can they use a satellite to give you internet? Well, because the stuff that you're doing is shot over over a satellite system. If you're using wireless,
it's right.
Wireless does not necessarily have to have a connection in your house. It can be out there in the air and you're grabbing it off the air. That comes from satellites. That comes from towers. There's no connection to your home. I mean, so we got a little tiny box that we can go anywhere with, and it just connects to, you know, something there, something there, something there. They do it all the time. So satellites, they're scared of satellites. They're scared of DirecTV and EchoStar getting into the internet business, because if that happens, it causes great grief to the
but
cable
I thought they
people.
kind of were. They're already in
I
the
know,
phone
but they want to
business.
get into it where they can have phone service and all that stuff. But, you know, and businesses are scared of the internet. You're always scared of what you don't understand. I mean,
But part of it is the businesses are trying to stay in business for another day. But it's you know.
You have
I mean, the government, well, let's just say things are changing. And so part of it is you need to stay in business, but sometimes you just need to take a little more step. Because the best time to build a business, it was actually when the economy's not doing that great.
You think think that the Wright brothers would have flown a plane if they'd have said, well, we're going to have to hold, these guys are really conservative New Englanders. You know, I think we should wait until the economy gets better before we go fly a Kitty Hawk. Well, the economy didn't get better. World War I showed up. And then the TV people, well, I think that we should wait until we've sold 10 million 3D sets, and then we'll go to real 3D network. Well, they can't give away the sets they're trying to sell, and they won't let people understand that you can see 3D on any set that's currently made. It's you know, so you can go right down the line. If you only those people, how about Henry Ford? I think that instead of creating the assembly line, I'm going to keep the money in my pocket and we'll turn out cars one at a time like they do in England with Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce is a dead company because turning out one car at a time didn't work. You know, we can go to the air. Actually, we go to we'll go to the shipping industry. We're going to go to you know, the steamship. I don't know. You know, if I dip into my pocket and build this steam engine, you know, steam engine, if I build this engine, I won't have this money, just, you know, in case something goes wrong. No steam engine. A perfect example, my mother's American Indian, she's also from New England. My mother had this attitude was, I mean, I can tell you, my father found out my mother had $200,000 sitting in a bank.
He wasn't real happy.
He was not real happy. We'd been eating beans and hot dogs and stuff for years because he was also in the construction business, the acting business. And what had happened is my mother just kept stuffing money in it. Well, we might need that money for someday important. And he said, we've been eating hot dogs and beans. Well, luckily we like hot dogs and beans. But we've been, you know, we've been doing without. I couldn't finish homes that we wanted to sell because and then you basically had that stuck in us. You squirreled away in it. My father, the only time my father ever got mad at my mother, and my father basically, my father went and withdrew every penny that was in the bank and spent it all $200,000 in one day.
Oh, he did?
Every penny of it. And then he told my mother, and she didn't like it, she could leave. You know, he really got mad because we had been, you know, the family had been going without for years. Well, she'd been squirreling money. Well, this was my money. And he said, you see, you're a manager of a restaurant. I build homes. You're a manager of a restaurant. I build homes. You're a manager of a restaurant. I build luxury homes. You're a manager of a restaurant. I build god-awful expensive homes. And he said, you're going to tell me that you haven't made $200,000 in your life. She said, well, it's our money, and our money is my money. I mean, that was a beautiful an argument. My brothers and sisters, we listened to my father was, I knew there was a problem. My father, like I said, German and Irish and American Indian. He didn't get angry.
Oh, he went ultra calm.
He went ultra calm. And like my brother said, he's going to kill Mommy. And his sister, don't kill Mommy. And he said, I'm not going to kill Mommy. We're going to go have a lot of fun this afternoon, children. He said, you know those that swimming pool you wanted?
We're going to go buy it.
Yeah, he said, you know those bicycles you all wanted? And he said, you know, like me, he said, you want that new car? I'm 10 years old. And he said, I don't care. Your mother's paying for it. So, you know, he paid off he took the money, paid off all the loans they had on the stuff. You know, cleared the deck of everything that we owed. And then next year we started all over again, which was not really fun, but he went out one day. I mean, okay, here's the trick is, you're talking, you know, I know, I'm behind on the payments, we'll have the people didn't make their payments, so we're behind on, They said, I know, but you've got 30 days to come up with it. And my father, you've had me begging people to give us an extension, and you had that sitting in the bank for a rainy day. He said, we've had lots of rainy days. He said, how about it when one of my sisters basically had leukemia and she died from it. He said, what about when we're begging doctors, to give us free medical treatment because we didn't have the money, and you're sitting on this. So the first thing my father also did, he called up the guy that delivered all of us and said, hey, guess what? You just had a payday. Mm-hmm. So he paid back all of the money that was spent on my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every penny that had been spent on my sister that my parents had basically, my father was a great son. He just basically wheedled it out of everybody because we didn't have things back then, for treating children like they did. I just say Danny Thomas's thing today. So basically people were just carrying it on the books. My father didn't like that. He was carrying dentist bills on the books. We were carrying hospital bills on the books, and there was never any need of it because my father didn't realize that he was actually making money. All he knew is that we had bills being paid. But this is what goes on in the economy of small businesses. The businesses are like my mother. Well, if we spend the money, we won't have it tomorrow. Well, there ain't to tell people. 212 is coming. 212 was when Barack Obama becomes president again, because there's nobody in the Republican Party that anybody wants to run, period. Mm-hmm. So, the 212, which is funny, the Mayan prophecy. Obama is trying to run the country through executive orders and orders from agencies. Mm-hmm. And it takes years to get those things undone in the court system. And the court system will not hurt, because the court system has got so much stuff, they're not going to move one thing ahead of another, because these people down here that have been waiting for 7 years, they want their cases heard. So by the time that Obama is replaced by there'll be a lunatic replacing him in 2016. What's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. People are going to give a Republican House and Senate in order to keep Obama in check, and he's not going to care, because he doesn't care now.
He doesn't care now.
Doesn't care now. So, if he doesn't care now, what makes you think he kind of cares
then? I think you should
then?
get rid of him.
Well, no, but you're not going to, because the Republicans totally and absolutely refuse to run anybody.
I know, and the Republicans could have a free ride on this
one. It's a free ride. If they nominated anybody, okay, here's the litmus test. You have to be pro-life, anti-abortion, you have to be anti-gay rights, you have to be want the 10 Commandments in every church, and you want social programs all cut badly. That's how you get to be a Republican nominee for the presidency. And which means you're catering to the minority side of the party to get the nomination. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the John McCain basically catered. He could have won if he'd have stayed McCain. Instead, what he did, he jumped to the right. And by jumping to the right, nobody wanted the right. And so they thought, well, we'll give a flyer on this guy to no track record.
See, here's the challenge: is the person's got to get elected by the party, and then to get the nomination, and then they have to appeal to the people. But the problem is the people that are doing the nomination go so far to the right that they can't win.
Oh yeah, and this has been going on for decades. 1960 or about 1961 to 62, I simply, we did an op-ed. And I did the thing about the fact that the one guy basically, he's like a Bill O'Reilly type. The American system of electing people is it's basically very clumsy, but it's the most fair system in the world. And I came on in the op-ed piece, which is basically we actually did op-eds. You're not supposed to know that the op-eds were actually people there, and said the American people have nothing to do with choosing who's going to be the candidates. It's all done by the parties. So he went ballistic. I mean, that's how it's done in foreign countries. This is the United States of America. We do things in a democratic way, and then about a half hour later, he came down. I've just been told by the news director that I may have erred, and that it is the parties that choose who the people are. The parties choose the individuals that are going to be running. The parties put their money behind the individual that they think should be in office, and I sincerely apologize for my outburst. Mm-hmm. And they fired him. Because he went ballistic on the air about how, I was nothing but a communist. I was, detrimental to this country. I stayed, he went. Mm-hmm. Because the guy was Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly is basically clueless of how this country is ran. He's clueless how any country is ran. He's clueless how business is ran. So it's just the way it is. It's just, if you want to make change, you have to make a change. If you want to ensure that you've got a future, you have to be willing to invest in the future, because we probably ended up with Edgar Rice Burroughs. One of the most important things that he ever said was, once you start forward, you can never go back. Going back is the same as ending your life. Mm-hmm. You can't go backwards. You can't go here, take 2 steps to the side. Here, take 2 steps to the side. Here, take 2 steps to the side. It means you lose 1 step every time you go forward. It means you're doing nothing but going backwards with everything you do. The reason why rich people are rich isn't because it's off of your hard work. It's because they're willing to gamble. Mm-hmm. You can take it. I think when my grandmother, my family had been coming to this country since the days of the Revolutionary War. They were Haitian soldiers, but my family, when they come to this country, always admired about this country, but nobody gave a damn if you had a title or didn't have a title. You had just as much chance to make it as anybody else did. If you were willing to work, you made it. If you had money with you and you could build something and you hired people, they were really happy about it. Today, they criticize you if you have money and you don't give it away. Well, but the big people, the businesses, are trying to keep their business going. Basically, you put it this way: if you have a business that isn't making money and you keep hiring the people to work for you and you criticize that person, he's spending money he doesn't have to spend. He could just simply fold the business, put the money in his pocket, and move out of the country. And nobody is making these people continue to stay here and spend money. But the economy cannot continue to grow unless the little businesses get off their asses and start investing. Mm-hmm. You have to buy, even if, put it this way, you either spend it or the president is going to take the money away from you through taxes or regulations. The idea is to make your investments now where you still have the opportunity to make the choice for yourself. I mean, well, if we do that, this is a good one, if we do that, it's going to look good for him. Well, no, because he doesn't want you to do it. The White House does not want you to invest in this country. They do.